Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Soap Goes to the Oscars. I'm still watching the 1929 to 1930 movies. And for this episode, I watched The Divorcee. This was a 1930 film. It is a pre-code drama written by Nick Grinde, John Meehan, Zelda Sears. It was based on a 1929 novel called Ex-Wife by Ursula Parrott. This was directed by Robert Leonard, who was also nominated for Best Director, and it was not obviously nominated for Best Picture. It also won the Best Actress award for its star Norma Shearer. Okay, so this one, the story is there starts out in kind of like there's a party in like a cabin, a bunch of people hanging out, and then there's a young couple, which is Ted and Jerry, played by Chester Morris and Norma Shearer, and they are like sitting by a river, falling in love. And there's a dude at the party. There's another couple. They're not really together at this point, but Paul and Dorothy are their names. Paul is also in love with Jerry and is crushed to find out that Jerry has agreed to marry Ted. So out of guilt, he marries the other girl because he gets drunk and causes an accident that leaves her face disfigured. After that, it was very abrupt and kind of strange at first, but then it cuts to like 3 years later. It's the evening of their third anniversary, and Ted admits that he had an affair with another woman. He tells her it didn't mean a thing. And this is also like the night before he's about to leave to go on a business trip for a week. And while he's away, she's upset. She gets drunk and she ends up sleeping with his friend Don, who I think may have also been at the party in the beginning. I can't remember. When he comes back, he's like, I want to put this behind us and hope you forgive me and blah, blah, blah. And she ends up telling him that she's balanced their accounts but she didn't tell him with who she slept with. Ted being, a 1930s hypocrite, he's outraged. They argue, and he leaves her. He can't handle her having slept with someone, even though he slept with someone. So he leaves her and kind of becomes an alcoholic. Then she runs into Paul, who was the guy from the beginning that disfigured the other woman, and he's still in love with her. And he says he's willing to leave his wife, who he disfigured, because they're not really in love. They spend a couple weeks together and plan for a future together. Then the disfigured woman Dorothy comes to the house and talks to Jerry. Though the names are confusing because Jerry's the woman, and her husband Paul is coincidentally meeting Jerry for dinner as well. So they have a bit of an awkward exchange, and Jerry sort of decides to reevaluate her decision to leave with Paul. So ultimately, she admits that she regrets giving up on her first marriage. She decides to see if her husband will reconcile. Once again, disappointing Paul, who probably, I don't know, drove off a bridge or something drunk. So a few weeks later, she, on her third attempt to locate Ted in Paris, she finally finds him at a New Year's Eve party. They have a bit of an exchange. He expresses his regret. She expresses her regret, and they kiss. And that's how it ends. It was very quick, like sort of like that summarizes it. And there was obviously a little bit in between, some of those scenes, but that is basically the movie. It's pretty short. It was like an hour and 25 minutes, which, excellent. But it was good. She was very good. I can, not having seen the rest of the movies from the year, I, can't say for sure, but I can see why she did win. And I liked him in The Big House a lot, and he was really good in The Alibi as well. So it's a good, I enjoyed both of them. It was pretty good. I think what was the Big House I liked a little bit better. This one was just, it kind of jumped from scene to scene too quickly. And it was a little bit abrupt in places. It was a pretty good print. I rented this from Amazon. I think it was $4. Quality was pretty good. Sound was good. Picture, there's a few places where the picture didn't look, kind of diminished in quality a little bit, but not so much because of Amazon or anything. Just, I think, the quality of the print. But yeah, this one was pretty good. And so far I've liked, both of the movies that I watched for this Oscar year. I've got 3 more left. including the winner, All Quiet on the Western Front. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I can finish this year out and move on to the next one. I am really, as I kind of go through and look at the list of movies that I have ahead of me, which there's a total of 600 movies. I there's movies that I really want to get to, but because I've set this task for myself, I have to kind of get through these earlier ones, which I may not be excited about, but I found that I'm liking a lot of them. So definitely not a movie that I would have just picked to watch, but I'm glad I watched it. So that's it, and I will see you next week. Later.